Jimmy Kimmel was doing it. Oh yeah, he was doing it too.
Yeah, he was doing it too.
Yeah. No, he was being accused of joking about it too.
So they were upset at him, even though he was attacking the appropriate person. He was doing it in a manner which is also construed as being transphobic. Like they were saying that his tweet is transphobic. He's a comic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, he used to host the Man Show. I mean, he's done some pretty outrageous back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, for hee-hees and haw-haws.
No, that's a good joke on top of a good joke.
Yeah, it's a good joke. Funny thing to say. He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood.
Jimmy Kimmel once got into trouble with his own side for joking about pronouns. Even though he was taking a shot at Elon Musk, people still called it transphobic. Rogan pointed out how strange and hypocritical this was. Kimmel claims to support the same causes, but then makes fun of them when it suits him. If you're going to stand for something, you can't mock it whenever it's convenient. The whole thing shows how
self-censorship and the idea of being a more empathetic person is a good thing, right? But as long as it's reasonable. But the thing is, the problem with that kind of stuff is it continues to go in the same direction where more and more things become forbidden and toxic, to the point where, you know, the Elon Musk joking around about my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Jimmy Kimmel made a tweet back to him. He said, your pronouns are ass and hole, which is pretty funny. But then...
Did he really?
Yes. And so then I read that, and there was people saying, please don't joke about pronouns. It's transphobic to joke about pronouns. So they were chiding him for participating in a joke about pronouns.
Trapped Kimmel is in the Hollywood bubble. Late-night comedy isn't really about laughs anymore. It's become a platform for political talking points. Rogan didn't hold back. He said Kimmel has turned into a mouthpiece for the left, forgetting that comedy should be about making people laugh, not pushing propaganda. In the end, Kimmel's problem is clear. He tried to attack Elon Musk but ended up exposing his own double standards. And that's why his jokes keep backfiring. Jimmy Kimmel once made his name with The Man Show, a wild, unapologetic comedy.
Yeah, he was doing it too.
Yeah. No, he was being accused of joking about it too.
So they were upset at him, even though he was attacking the appropriate person. He was doing it in a manner which is also construed as being transphobic. Like they were saying that his tweet is transphobic.
Do you think that was, in that case, do you think that's him or a writer? Can't you tell?
Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
No, it's him, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
good. That's a good one.
He's a comic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, he used to host the Man Show. I mean, he's done some pretty outrageous back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, for hee-hees and haw-haws.
No, that's a good joke on top of a good joke.
Yeah.
That didn't care about politics or pandering. Back then, he thrived on outrageous humor and built a big audience, which eventually landed him his own late-night spot on ABC. But today's Kimmel looks completely different. Instead of focusing on comedy, he's tied himself to politics and progressive talking points. Rogan points out that Kimmel is stuck in the Hollywood bubble, the most left-leaning bubble there is. Over time, Kimmel has pushed vaccines, promoted gender ideology, and even defended biological men competing in women's sports. He's no longer seen as a comedian first, but as a political activist using late-night TV as his stage.
Had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. And, you know, and I think also, you know, he famously, there's some videos of him in blackface, and those came out, and he had apologized for them, and I think he took that hit and, like, really doubled down the other direction. I mean, that's just speculation. But he, you know, now is a guy that goes after people like Elon Musk.
Fans who once tuned in for laughs now get lectures. Rogan also highlights the hypocrisy. Kimmel once mocked Elon Musk for defending free speech, siding with the same crowd that banned and censored voices they didn't like. But now, when the tables have turned, Kimmel and his allies cry about free expression. It's the double standard of the woke movement. They cheer censorship when it works in their favor, but play the victim when it comes back to hurt them. Rogan makes his stance clear. He believes in free speech for everyone, even if what's said is offensive or flat out wrong.
Because he's willing to put people on with uncomfortable opinions, and he's releasing people that were banned from Twitter because of things that they had said. He's like, as long as you haven't done anything illegal, I'll let you back on.
Oh, yeah.
So he's doing a lot of that. So it's a lot of people are upset by that because then they think, well, you're platforming bigots and hateful people, and it's a weird conversation.
The answer to bad speech isn't censorship. It's better speech, smarter arguments, and open debate. Kimmel never defended that principle when it mattered. Instead, he went along with silencing voices he didn't agree with. And now he's facing the consequences of the culture he helped create. The lesson is simple. If you support censorship, don't be surprised when it eventually turns on you. Rob Schneider joked about the situation, but his point about free speech was serious. The First Amendment protects people from government censorship, not from losing their job. Private companies like ABC have every right to decide what their employees can and can't say, because those employees represent the brand. If you cross the line...
Speech believer. I think the way to counter someone's inappropriate, even someone like Kanye West, that says ridiculous anti-Semitic things. The way to counter that is to counter that with more thoughtful opinions on what he's saying and point out that what he's saying is inaccurate in many ways, hurtful in many ways. Like, point it out. Like, talk. Let's have discussion. Don't silence the guy.
There are consequences. That's exactly what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. He thought he could say whatever he wanted, but in reality, he was still accountable to his employer. Schneider made it clear free speech doesn't mean freedom from fallout, especially in Hollywood. Rob also reminded people that the outrage is selective. When Roseanne Barr was fired for her comments, the left had no problem with it. But when Kimmel faced backlash, suddenly it was treated as censorship. The same goes for how Democrats leaned on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter to silence certain voices. Back then, the left cheered censorship as a good thing. Now that one of their own is in trouble, they're calling it unfair. The double standard is obvious. On top...
Chilled. Are you in fear for the future of comedy and free speech?
Well, Will, first of all, I woke up this morning to the incredible shock that apparently TV shows are not guaranteed in our Constitution. I mean, wow. So that was tough to swallow. First.
On top of that, Kimmel wasn't pulling in the numbers anymore. His ratings kept dropping, and advertisers weren't happy. Some even threatened to pull out completely. That's a death sentence for any TV host. On broadcast television, advertisers pay the bills, and when they leave, so do you. Kimmel made it worse by alienating nearly half the country with his nonstop attacks on MAGA. Instead of uniting viewers through comedy, he split them apart. That's not just bad for laughs. It's bad for business. Broadcast TV is also different from cable or streaming. Networks use public airwaves, which means they're supposed to serve the public interest. The FCC expects honesty, fairness, and responsibility. Kimmel failed that test when he spread false claims on air.
Waiting for the left, the liberals, to get outraged about Roseanne getting fired for her free speech. And then I'm also waiting, I've been waiting a long time for the left and the Democrats, especially the Democrats on Capitol Hill, with the Twitter files that released that the Biden-Harris administration was actually using the government to pressure Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and especially Twitter to actually censor actual Americans through government pressure.
Even the FCC wasn't going to shut ABC down. At most, they wanted an apology. But ABC executives saw enough. They decided Kimmel was no longer worth the trouble. At the end of the day, Kimmel wasn't pushed out by a conspiracy or censorship. He sank his own career by replacing comedy with politics, driving away his audience, and breaking the trust of advertisers and viewers. He stopped being a comedian and turned himself into a political spokesman. And in the cutthroat world of television, that's a losing bet. Jimmy Kimmel used his platform to push whatever agenda fit him at the moment. But audiences didn't tune in for politics, they wanted to laugh. By turning late night into a personal battleground, he pushed away half the country and damaged his own reputation. His downfall wasn't caused by outside forces.
Capitalist pressure is really important because what happens is you have to make money or you have to do something of value so that you can get something in return. Now, the interesting thing is it's false advertising because honestly, I mean, look, Jimmy Kimmel can be funny, and I don't mean to take anything away from that, but the fact of the matter, can you remember a political joke that went viral, what was something really funny of his? There was no attempt in humor at all in what he said. And as a matter of fact, it was a lie. Now, as you pointed to, Will, since the 1960s, you have to get a license to broadcast. This isn't Netflix, this isn't cable, this is broadcast TV.
It was the result of his own choices and his decision to put politics above comedy. When 246 local stations across the country dropped his show, it wasn't some conspiracy. It was because viewers spoke up. People across America, not just in Los Angeles or New York, were fed up. They wanted genuine entertainment, not lectures. Sean Compton, the CEO of Nexstar, made it clear. When complaints pile up, you have to listen. And this time, the message was undeniable. What makes it even more striking is that all 246 stations agreed Kimmel's comments crossed the line. That kind of unity in broadcasting almost never happens. These stations know their audiences, they know what people expect, and they don't take risks that hurt their credibility. Still, a few woke outlets are trying to...
TV, you have to... the airwaves are owned by the public. And to get that license, you have to be in the interest, like you said, of the public. And so that's why when there's a news van parked in the white zone, they don't get a ticket because they are there to present news to inform the public in the public interest. So what happens is 25% originally was supposed to be the news to inform it, just to get that license. So when you absolutely lie to the public, then you are no longer in the public interest, like Jimmy Kimmel did the other night. Mislead and lie, and actually was something dangerous. So with the FCC chairman, he didn't say that he was going to pull the license. He was going to give them a warning and ask for an apology, if what I understood on the Benny Johnson show. And so that's not the government doing it.
To rewrite the story, acting like they know better than hundreds of stations and millions of viewers. It's absurd. The truth is simple. The majority of Americans saw Kimmel's remarks as offensive and harmful. The spin from a handful of media defenders can't change that. The verdict is already clear. Kimmel's downfall was self-inflicted. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Jimmy Kimmel once got into trouble with his own side for joking about pronouns. Even though he was taking a shot at Elon Musk, people still called it transphobic. Rogan pointed out how strange and hypocritical this was. Kimmel claims to support the same causes, but then makes fun of them when it suits him. If you're going to stand for
6 different stations around the country say we're no longer airing this, it's because they heard from their consumers. They heard from their customers. And they said, that's it. We're not doing it. And so Nexstar, who's a great guy over there, Sean Compton, said, that's it. He's the CEO and said, when we have complaints like this and none of the channels, 246, because I'm sorry, it's not just LA and New York. There are people in between who have a real sense of decency and who realize that what you had here was you had someone who wanted to have conversations and debate.
Something, you can't mock it whenever it's convenient. The whole thing shows how trapped Kimmel is in the Hollywood bubble. Late-night comedy isn't really about laughs anymore. It's become a platform for political talking points. Rogan didn't hold back. He said Kimmel has turned into a mouthpiece for the left, forgetting that comedy should be about making people laugh, not pushing propaganda. In the end, Kimmel's problem is clear. He tried to attack Elon Musk but ended up exposing his own double standards. And that's why his jokes keep backfiring. Jimmy Kimmel once made his name with The Man Show, a wild, unapologetic comedy that didn't care about politics or pandering. Back then, he thrived on outrageous humor and built a big audience, which eventually landed him his own late-night spot on ABC. But today's Kimmel looks completely different. Instead of focusing on comedy, he's tied himself to politics and progressive talking points. Rogan points out that Kimmel is stuck in the Hollywood bubble, the most left-leaning bubble there is. Over time, Kimmel has pushed